Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply. Alright, so this is the Flogcast post-season episode. Starburns here, and I'm joined by the number one Kool-Aid chugger from Essendon, Haduken.
Can't update, still Subaru, thanks.
The number one tomboy deal lover, Ant.
Rookie wage.
Mr. Moral Victory, Cooksen.
That's for how the Saints look from here.
The bravest supporter of the bravest club, Morgan Ashley.
And club champion. Hello.
Club champion. Oh, God, is that going to become a thing? That's like how Justa Butler called himself Flogstradamus for the first 6 months of the year after he won the predictions last year.
Yeah, but is Flogstradamus really that good a title? I mean, Chuckle Chicken deserves a Flogstradamus for his Bob Murphy thread. I think that title's kind of hit
Just
the
wait,
bottom.
even a broken clock's right twice a day.
You
So
can throw enough darts.
Well, that's how Amstaff has so many. He's thrown a lot of darts. And finally, we have our Norf supporter, Dan.
I've got nothing special to say.
So the big elephant in the room here is that we don't have any Hawks.
What happened to Nerd?
He left, I think, because we were waiting for Penal too long, and Penal hasn't
Official.
turned up. So
They've
we've gone
drafted
from
the
one
goose.
Hawk, hoping for two, to zero.
They've
I'm
drowned.
sure someone can go about them.
Yeah, well, does anyone here actually want to go about Hawthorn?
No.
I
This is
have
a
some
massive
things to
disappointment
say.
considering this time last year we had a very drunk Penal on, and now we haven't got him on at all.
This grand final, was this more West Coast losing or Hawthorn winning?
Well, we'll go with goo or tears first, and we'll find out.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any goo or any tears?
It's hard to be gooey or teary over a neutral sort of grand final.
And it was a pretty dull game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's goo, but I enjoyed like doing a lap of honour in the Gatorade. I thought that was funny. But other than that, it was an expected result, Hawthorn winning. So yeah,
It was a pretty boring grand final, really, wasn't it?
Mm.
I've got tears because now it's trade period, and these are tears of laughter, by the way. But every Carlton fucking supporter's like, "We're in a good position. We're gonna win the flag." You're fucking not. Just shut the fuck up.
Well, you're trading Liam Jones for Billings, aren't you?
I will kill myself if that happens.
I saw a quote from a Carlton supporter, like I think someone posted it today, about they're in a better place than St Kilda. Was that the one you posted, Cookie?
Oh, pretty much. They're
Yeah.
just in a better place, better lists.
Well, yeah, maybe it was being literal.
2 years
I
into a
mean,
rebuild like St
No,
Kilda.
can we-
No,
can we-
you're at ground zero.
be fair, maybe they were being a bit more literal. Like, Carlton is a better place than Seaford.
Yeah, there must be.
That is true. It is a
There
better
are
place.
There are
It
a
is
couple of good restaurants in Carlton. I don't know about seafood.
Geographically is the only way that comes.
Seaford, you can get stabbed because you're close to Cannanook.
And actually, I'll just stop us all there because I do believe we finally have some goo.
Oh, here comes the goo.
better late than never.
You know the famous saying, right? Goo things come to those who wait.
And we've been waiting and
We're just
waiting.
doing the hellos as well, man. Goo timing, man. Goo timing.
And weren't we supposed to say we just analysed the game and we're moving on?
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pina, we're talking about trade week, so
And why Carlton are deluded cunts.
Yeah, we pretty much went, yeah, grand final was boring. Okay, moving on. And that was that.
We also
Great
talked
grand
about,
final.
Pina, we also talked about how you turned up sober and everyone else was off their tits. And you were kind of giving us those looks like,
what's wrong with these people?
To be fair, you had been going since like 11, and yeah, like you said, I rocked up at 4 or something.
was it that early? Fuck. I
Yeah,
can't
no, well,
remember.
we left there at like 7, so he was there by at least 5.
Oh, because the biggest thing from that take I took away from it, everyone was disappointed that Fifey wasn't as short as they'd imagined.
That was literally the first thing Reap said.
I was expecting Peter Dinklage.
but no, we are actually on goo or tears, Penal. So if you want to weigh in, because the rest of us were struggling, but I'm sure you've got a mountain of goo to spill.
Look, I'm gonna spill 3 loads of goo. The first one is for Ryan Schoenmakers. What a great story. That's what football's all about. And
The comb-overs. The comb-overs. It's all about the comb-overs.
You wanted this guy gone weeks ago, Penal. You were off the wagon.
I was never off the wagon.
It just shows how good Coach Clarkson is. I mean, he's hiding one of the worst defenders ever on the half forward line. That's
And
genius.
he's making him look like a star. I mean, the fucking collective orgasm from the Hawthorn sections of the crowd when he took that mark in the third quarter, the big pack mark over the top, that was just something to behold.
In fairness, he did have a good game, and he should have been Norm Smith medalist. I'm just putting that
Oh,
out.
yeah, okay.
He had a
This
really
is
good
the
game.
part where I get to have my tears. Norm Smith medalist selectors. You are goo chuggers.
But Cyril's taps are that much more
Oh,
effective.
18 disposals and 2 goals.
They got this one right, guys.
Okay.
Did you see his intercept? That was my second load of goo. The first one was the Schoenmaker story and the mark. Second one is that intercept from Cyril. I mean, how fucking clever is he? Like his football IQ is 260. He's the Stephen Hawking of football.
But talking about intercepts, though, man, I mean, that's all Melbourne can talk about when I talk about Jack Watts. Intercepts.
So Cyril is Jack Watts.
No, Cyril is what Jack Watts would be if Jack Watts had heart, talent, desire, drive, and,
Premierships.
actual fucking pace.
Bubbles.
Look, it was a full team performance because you had players 21 and 22 in Rioli and Schoenmakers, basically for Hawthorn on the day.
21 and 22, that's very fair to Hill.
And Lewis.
So okay,
We'll
and
get to
Suckling, I
it,
guess, too.
What's your gold medal goo, Penal?
No, the gold medal was Schoenmakers, obviously. The bronze medal, I'm starting from the top because, I mean...
You don't go gold down to bronze. You go
Well,
bronze
I mean,
to what?
I didn't want to build it up because you had to let it out early because if you build up, it kind of hurts. Yeah, my bronze medal was for the West Coast supporters at the game. All of the West Coast supporters that I talked to at the game or in Melbourne, they were pretty good people. A lot of knowledgeable football people amongst them, and no fucking idiots like the blokes at the Fremantle game last week. Kudos to the West Coast supporters for not embarrassing yourselves and for being generally classy. There you go.
They boo.
Anti-climax. You should have gone the other way.
And also, Penal, after this, three-peat, just a question on the Hawks' future. Does for hell Hawks look from here?
I have goo and tears. I have goo for the after siren celebration, the Hawthorn players with their kids. I thought it was magnificent. They were so... I had actual tears when Jordan Lewis carried his baby onto the ground.
We're not gay. We have children. We're not gay.
So I agree. I mean, the whole David Hale one, I was like, brought a tear to my eye as well. He dissed the kid. He went to do that handshake and went, no, hold my hand.
No, I had actual tears when Jordan Lewis carried his son onto the ground. Sam Mitchell and
I had relief when he didn't drop
I thought
him.
it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, don't drop the kid, man.
It was lovely. It was really nice to watch. And I have tears for every West Coast Hawthorn supporter who ended the game and made their way to Fed Square. And look, it was a procession from a funeral. Seriously, if you've just won 3 premierships in a row, get excited, you bastards. It was like nobody won. There was no atmosphere. There was nothing.
But that's because they're all tired from the goo explosion.
You're like dead inside. Lift, you pricks.
I'm sorry, you've won 3
To be
flags.
fair-
Fucking celebrate. I mean, that was secured.
To be fair, we're used to the success by now. I mean, if
Coming-
it's a
coming
builder,
down is
obviously
hard.
you're going to celebrate.
Coming down off all those hills is hard. It's not easy.
Can I just go back to my tears about all the strength selectors? Because 18 disposals and 2 goals and all the clever tap-ons. If we're going to play the fucking stats game, may a Hawthorn supporter never
We can't
again say
bash
Jimmy
we can't
Bartell
bash
did not
him.
deserve his Norm Smith at 26 disposals and 3 goals. If you think Rioli deserves it, you have to acknowledge that Bartell did enough. And if that hurts you deep inside, well, good.
I'm not going to comment on the Bartell one because I'm not hodgepodge. But to be fair, just talking about Cyril's influence on the game early when it was to be won was the most influential. Honestly, I thought Smith was very
I thought Smith
very
was
unlucky not to poll more than 1 vote because he only won
Yep. Smith's
panelists
not a
drew him
mark.
a vote.
I thought Cyril was in the best three on the ground, but I thought Smith and Mitchell gave four
I,
quarter.
I, leg- I legitimately thought toss-up between Rioli and Smith, and I was very surprised at how big the gap was between those two.
I kind of
It's-
agree. It should have been Smith all the way, but I kind of have to agree with Penal because Sirioli's first quarter was the best quarter I've seen him play.
Yeah, I
Actually, he didn't do much.
I don't disagree with that.
The
I
rest of
thought
it.
2 and 3 he didn't do much. In the fourth, he reminded everyone he was still there. But apart from the intercept, which I think was the second quarter, that was probably the only thing he did in those 2 quarters. But the first one, certainly in the last one, he
That was the third quarter, I think, because that's when West Coast were coming.
And the one thing he did in the second and third quarters stood out. But I just thought Smith gave constant drive.
West Coast were coming, and then Cyril made that intercept, and the Hawthorn supporters were coming.
Well,
Ba-dum.
West Coast really weren't coming. I mean, they had a bit of a dip, and then they just fell to pieces. They choked.
And then a
Darling
guy
just-
called Darling chinned the ball, and they
Darling dropped the
four
ball.
But
goals.
I reckon it started with Wellingham squibbing it, going back with the flight, and giving.
Wasn't that third quarter though?
Yeah, it was the third quarter when they
It was
started.
all over by the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like
It was
30
all over
points.
by the
I mean,
second.
It was
pick-
over after.
I did like Wellingham putting good bloke on his ass.
You could
That
pick
was
examples from
fantastic.
the whole game of whether Eagles players just crack under pressure, like Shuey not
Shuey
giving
was
the handball,
shot.
running into the open goal. That was like the first miss of the day, and then
Yeah.
from there everyone started missing.
I mean, Shannon Hearn played a complete shocker. He just was terrible. I mean,
I mean,
Gaff-
Well, it was very hard to find a good West Coast player. It's very hard to find a bad Hawthorn player.
Royals
Gaff
went
McGovern.
hard on Nat Newey straight after
Gaff
the
and
game.
McGovern were the only two.
But
that
no,
played.
but the thing is, Hawthorn were a bit scrappy in the first quarter. There, they gave West Coast a lot of chances. I mean, Hodge was doing some stupid kicks, and
He squibbed a few in the first quarter too. Good bloke.
they'll make their disposal was just a bit messy. And you know, the West Coast had a few turnovers, yet they'd kick a point. At one stage, there they had the same amount of scoring as Hawthorn, except it was flipped. I mean, it was like 1 goal 9 to 9 goals 1 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, but that's what happens. Bad kicking is bad football, and we say it all the
But
time.
no, what I'm trying to say though is it's really West Coast played themselves out of the game more than Hawthorn really dominating at the start there.
And that is also why Jack Darling won the Leon Davis medal with 45.4% of the vote ahead of Kennedy with 28.2%. And that's why Darling won, because Kennedy might have been invisible, but Darling fucked up their chances and was a momentum killer.
All right, I've got something a little bit special here, Fifey. Goo and tears. I've got both, which put together makes gears, or what grinds my gears in this grand final. Hawthorn is now officially, 2015, is the worst premiership team of all time. All time.
Of all time.
All time. Let me read some names out to you.
This is according
I'm gonna
to
let you
fucking
finish,
Dan 26's rankings.
Oh, it will eventually probably get sorted into that, but this is me.
I have
This is
no
all Haduken.
association with that retard,
Okay.
just so everyone knows.
Let's see. Okay. David Hale. Seriously, a lumbering.
retard.
Yeah, pretty much. The guy looks like Lurch, plays like Lurch. What did he actually do in the grand final? I don't recall. Does anyone remember? Did he do anything?
He got
Nat
subbed.
Newey markless.
Taylor Duray. What did he do?
He kicked the ball
Oh,
once.
He looked like
he's a
Justin
fucking gun. Did you see him sit Lacroix on his ass?
Oh, he
Duray had
knocked
an
over
all-right
the
game,
Frenchman. Wow. Jeez, what a
He
contribution.
had a
So
blinder against
Duray
Freo.
was best
Or
best
Adelaide.
on ground against Fremantle and had a really good game
I'm
against
talking
West
about the
Coast.
grand final here, not over the year. I'm talking about the grand final itself, the team that played. And what I'm saying is take this team, compare it to any other premiership team from any year, any era. I don't care. They will beat the shit out of Hawthorn.
What about
That
the
is-
Hawthorn
that is
Bradbury?
the
Now wait. Then we've got
Biggest load of
inverse-
bullshit I've ever heard.
Inverse Michael Jackson, Jack Gunston, white man wears one black glove. Right? He had a good game. He played all right. What is it? 4 goals. He was okay. Suckling, Big Boy McAvoy, lumbering idiot.
Boy, he was a fucking
Hale Mark
champion.
II. Hodge played an okay game when he wasn't squibbing things in the first
Paul
quarter.
Popolo played the shit game.
Paul, no, sorry, you can't call him Paul. It's Poppy. Poppy.
Oh, Poppy, yeah, Poppy.
You've got to call him Poppy. Poppy's got the ball. Poppy's ducking. Poppy's weaving. Poppy's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Yay, Poppy. Lewis played all right. Jared Roughhead played a good game.
He played shocking.
The
I
way
found.
you're describing the side, it sounds like they're lucky to make the finals.
They kind of were.
The people are comparing this side to one of the greatest sides of all time.
There's no
That's-
doubt about it.
yeah,
This is the
Hawthorn
greatest side of all
supporters
time.
This is my Smith played a good game. Ryan Schoenmakers. Oh, here we
Fucking
go.
gun.
This
He's the
apparently
All-Australian
now
centre-half
a
forward
premiership
next year.
player. Liam Invisible Man Shields. I finally noticed him in the fourth quarter. He got a possession. I'm
You
like,
mean the
look,
guy
Liam.
who tagged Pritis out of the game?
Jordan Lewis. Jordan
How many-
Lewis did not
He
even
tagged
downhill ski.
Pritis, did he? How many possessions did Pritis have? Pritis
He
was
had
probably
3
West
to
Coast's
half-
only decent midfielder.
He he had 3 possessions or something, 7 possessions to half time, did Pritis. And then obviously it was like, oh yeah, game over. We'll release
Then what the
that
fuck did
matchup.
Lewis do?
Okay, you've got the best tagger. Woohoo. Now, Sam Mitchell played a good game. Bradley Hill, yeah, there's a contributor for you.
That guy's got 3
Yeah.
premiership medals.
That's a disgrace.
Did anyone play a good game, Haduken?
Oh, a couple of them. Like I said,
A couple of them carried them to a third grand premiership.
well, now, this is the point.
Zero.
West Coast, as a team, were collectively like a little bit of shit on the bottom of my shoe. That was West Coast on the day. They were that bad. They were that horrible.
I mean, following on from Haduken, let's just speak some names here. All right, Brisbane. Chris Johnson. Michael was better. Luke Power. Lepich. Lappin. Acker. Voss. Brown.
There's a couple of Brownlow medalists and all Australians.
Why are you doing this to me?
But in that fucking Brisbane team that won 3 in a row, yes, of course you had the Vosses, the Ackers, and the what, like you've got your Mitchells
They
and
didn't have a
Hodges.
number
You've
22
got
player
Ryan
like the
Shelton.
Oldies.
But Brisbane had their fucking Richard Hadleys and Craig McRae's, who are the role
Clark.
players that
Brad
complement.
Scott's.
Had Clark Hiddings.
Yeah, but Clark
Robert-
Keating stood up
Robert
in
fucking
front.
He was
Copeland.
he was Mr. September.
Brisbane Lions didn't lose a Lance Franklin during their peak as well.
If they had to travel week in, week out.
Lynch was on steroids.
Travel's overrated.
So
They had those injections that Essendon were so upset about.
let me say congratulations, Hawthorn 2015. You did it. You've three-peated. You've won. Well done. You are still shithouse. I'm sorry.
This is the fucking greatest team of all time, and you would have to be an idiot not to
Ryan
recognise
Shelton.
that.
Greatest team of all time. Matthew Suckling.
Bradley fucking Hill. Every
Hill.
team needs their
Exact-
role players. David Hale, brilliant role
What's
player.
role playing? A little girl that's scared and lost and alone?
Don't insult girls.
sorry.
A little Jack Watts.
Yeah, Jack Watts that's scared and lost and alone.
This Hawthorn team is more vanilla than vanilla fucking ice cream. There's no flavour. There's no substance.
Hello,
That's
Cocoa Pops flavoured.
Anyway, who hasn't had goo or tears?
I've got fucking tears for Haduken's terrible argument. Can we get Shep on just to balance out that idiocy?
Actually, I'll have another bit of goo. I mean, Jamie Cripps, you wanted to leave St Kilda and you played shit on the grand final, you choking diabetic cunt.
That's harsh.
Paddy McCartan's a diabetic.
Yeah, but Paddy's a good guy.
Oh, he's a good bloke. He's like Hodge.
And he was honest about it. Cripps hid it from us till like fucking halfway through first preseason.
Oh, well, if his club supporter's going to act like this about it, I'm not surprised.
No wonder Billings wants to leave. Wait, it's a bit shameful.
Okay.
Has Blink signed yet?
Not yet.
He signed fucking for St Kilda last year for a 3-year deal. You can suck my dick.
Oh, yeah, Dane Beam says deal means jack shit.
Ant hasn't gone, I don't think.
Oh, man. I don't know. It's kind of a boring grand final. Yeah.
Oh, I have extra goo. I have goo for the bar at Federation Square who gave us a $60 bill for being there for 7 hours worth of drinks, 2 main meals, and dessert. Thank you.
How'd you scam
Don't
that?
know. That's just what they charged me when I went up there and I paid and ran away.
That's very dishonest.
And then some bloke who fucking rocks up for one drink with his mate has probably got a $700 bill from all your drinks and meals.
Unlucky.
So anyone else have any goo or tears to add?
No, I'm done.
This has basically become our review by default, but was there anything else out of the day we want to discuss? Kennedy went missing, like...
He
Yo
got
was
Bronx
another
cheered
sort of
in the grand final by West Coast. Like, when you get Bronx cheered in the grand final, you know you've had a shit game.
Oh, yeah. Because the grand final's half corporates, so only half the ground actually noticed that you weren't been missing all game.
So yeah, the top 3 votes in the Leon Davis, Darling, Kennedy, and Natanui. So 3 big blokes.
In fairness, Kennedy did have Brian Legg and Josh Gibson hanging off him all game, and he had pathetic supply.
Yeah, and Darling was fucking up everything that came his way to make matters worse.
I mean, key forwards just have shocking grand finals. I mean, apart from Franklin, he's kicked a few. Gunston, he did it in downhill skis.
No, he kicked important goals. He was the Stevie J of this year when Stevie J was iffy to play against Collingwood, and he was a big difference maker, and Gunston was as well, even though it was 40-odd points. He kicked 4 goals, and all of them were
And
needed.
Wellingham wouldn't go within 20 metres of him, but
The traditional key
Yeah.
forwards just don't play well in grand finals for some reason.
It's not as much of a graveyard, the grand final for key forwards, as it it is for small forwards, though.
Small forwards hate grand finals. Like, this is the first time a Leon Davis medal's been won by a non-small forward type, because you look at the list of them: Ballantyne, Didak,
Well, now that
Jetta.
only endorses Surioli's.
Poppy could have been a
North.
contender. He really did jack
True.
shit throughout the whole game. If West Coast had won, he would have been someone who said,
Well,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I forgot Poppy.
I mean,
was
if West
playing.
Coast had won, then you could make strong arguments for sort of Puopolo or Hill or Bruce potentially. Bruce was another one who sort of
You could
wasn't
make
that
arguments
visible.
for 3 of the 4 ruckmen who were on the ground.
However, West Coast probably had 17 of the worst 22 players on the ground. They were just
Lacroix
that
and Hill,
bad.
just or worse, yeah.
Are we going to review our predictions? Because I did predict Shuey to be pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, but
Blah, 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 blah.
you didn't get the Leon Davis. Like,
trying to make it all
I think
about
it was
you again,
Network
Morgs.
Nerd did with the
Yeah.
shit
I-
on your,
Yeah,
down your throat, Jack
No,
Darling.
I
think he
predicted
actually got it.
McGovern to go forward and kick goals, and last quarter he did it. If they started McGovern forward, they win the game.
Junk time McGovern.
It's
Says it.
McGovern, and we all should show him love and respect.
Anything else to add about the game itself?
You could say it's probably a bit similar to the 91 grand final where a 2-old Hawthorn team dominates a kind of young West Coast team.
I think the way Hawthorn limped to the line this year, I get the feeling this is it for them. Like, they'll probably be thereabouts
The
again. And
retirements
maybe.
have started already. Lake and Hale have retired.
Who's going to go past us, though?
Well, I don't know, but I think you're going to go backwards enough, the same way that Geelong kind of did in 2012, where the Swans were able.
I look forward to the argument from Haduken as to why we're going to go backwards because we're losing David Hale, who you have all day, all year not rated at all.
I'm not making that argument. I'm making the argument that you limped to the line this year, and I think you timed it perfectly, and yet now all of a sudden some of them are going to start to drop away, and I don't think a younger brigade's good enough to keep bringing it through for you. Hawthorn set themselves for this. They got where they wanted to get to. They got to the game itself, and they knew what they were doing on the day. They did what they had to do, played solid football while West Coast imploded.
It was a professional performance, really.
I just don't think they'll win enough home and away games next year to get there.
I think we have got another one in us. That'll shut the doubters up, hopefully.
Is it time for Hawthorn?
It is time for Hawthorn, but I've just realised that we could win the next 7 in a row, and Geelong supporters would still fucking claim that their little pathetic excuse for a dynasty when they didn't even go back to back is better
But
than
really,
ours.
if Hawthorn win it next year, does that really say something about the quality of the league?
I
No,
think
it says something about the quality of Hawthorn to be that much better than
Brian
everyone else
Schoenmakers,
year in, year out.
Ben Stratton, Ben McAvoy.
You are
Matt
literally
Suckling.
reading out names who
I
would
am
be
just- yeah,
top 10
from-
players at every other club in the league. We're just so good that they're in
Who's
that
your 7th
15
best
to
player
22.
there, Penal?
That would be Paul Puopolo.
I don't know, Jordan Lewis, probably 7th best player.
So
It's
he's,
clearly a
he's,
serial
he's on Grig level, yeah?
And just on that, it's been happening, and I did hint at it before we came onto air. The Richmond BNF was on tonight, and Sean Grigg has come in 9th. Not quite
Oh.
7th, but
Oh.
9th. He went very close.
Who won the award?
Rance.
Oh,
I was
that-
going to say it wasn't Cochin.
All right. Look, there's more that happens on Grand Final Day than just the game, as we know. And I guess we'll start with the sprint.
Majak.
Magic Door.
Magic Door got across the line.
Mate, that's not the only thing. Cabbies beat Lewis Taylor.
So not only does Lewis Taylor not gain ground by
The Cabs are
exposure, he can't
better
really cover
athlete.
it by foot either.
Do clubs even put in their fastest player?
No,
No
because
way.
I mean, other than Magic Door because they needed the money, but
Well,
The
did you
club
see
last
that North won the kick across the Yarra comp?
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now we just need to get the premiership.
got all the other important awards, eh?
Yeah.
It was a great kick by Petrie, but the wind did turn, which was very much assisting him.
That sounds like the bloody 4-goal win that Penal was coming up
3
with.
out of 4 quarters.
Oh, no, everyone that kicked
That'd
late.
be Hawthorn already if it wasn't for that win.
No, everyone that kicked late in the competition was doing a lot better than, like, Fletcher only kicked it less than 40 metres because he was kicking into the wind. And then at the end, it turned around, Rance was leading, and then Cloak kicked it further than him, and Petrie won. It was good, though. Bit of fun.
Anything else on the sprint?
Lee Montagno fell flat on his face. That was pretty funny.
What? He fell on his face.
Yeah, he like
What the
slipped
hell
over.
was he doing in the race? He's not quick.
Yeah, but you get free grand final tickets when you do it, so you fucking
Don't
might.
all
well.
AFL players get free?
They do,
grand
but you
final
get an
tickets?
extra 2 in case you want to give them away to someone else.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So Lee needed a new spit roast partner. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh wow! But yeah, Majak was in the sprint too. They probably had a sprint grand final.
Majak doesn't fair. There's more of Majak to go around. He doesn't need someone else. Seriously, it needs to be addressed. That bulge was ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. He should not be wearing tights ever again.
Certainly not yellow.
If
one.
I was him, I'd be wearing those tights.
Imagine what Nick Dos Santos thinking though, seeing that every day.
Well, obviously Dell
would
doesn't
be
shower
showering
next to
soon,
him
that's for
with
sure.
Nahas.
Magic must have had a bit of an advantage going over the line in the sprint because I mean, it would have got over about a second before him. Wouldn't it?
Why do they do this? Does it really matter?
It's a tradition that they keep running with, like how they keep wheeling Mike Brady out every year, even though this year I think he was...
He was lip syncing. He was fucking shit.
You know, it's just one of those traditions they run with, and...
Maybe they could go a new tradition and get Meatloaf every year.
Get him to do the sprint.
I'm just gonna say, no. I think we should have a
like a
new
heart
award on the bay.
Be more of a
We
crawl.
should, for the worst media performer or fucking song person on the day, we call it the Meatloaf Medal, and Dick goes to that Eli Goulding, whatever the
Ellie
fuck.
Ellie Goulding.
I mean, obvious lip syncing. I mean, at least put a half-assed effort in. It's what we at least deserved.
It's really funny because she, you know, got a decent crown, whereas poor Chris Isaac looked like he was in a Norf game. There was fucking no one watching him when he
They
went
should
on.
have put Chris Isaac at half time.
He's really not, his style is not built for it. Even with a packed stadium, I don't think anyone really wants to hear that. It doesn't really reverberate round like, that's why I guess Bryan Adams, despite being Bryan Adams, actually worked.
Oh, he was good. I
Yeah, he was
thought.
probably the best one
Did
that
a
since
job.
Lionel Richie.
Someone in the Flogcast thread said I got my prediction right regarding the national anthem. Was that true?
You did, she fucked up a line.
Well, that counts then. I'm a winner. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Count
Norf
on.
has got their trifecta. You wanted the third one, you got it. You won the kicking comp, you won sprint, and now you won the Flogcast tip.
Oh, it's going to be hard to go back to back with all those three then.
The entertainment was actually reasonable, but they should have, I guess, moved it a bit. Yeah, some of it at halftime. And yeah, Chris Isaac was on way too early because I know he was there because the Channel 7 wanted him, but that was kind of embarrassing looking around. There's no one in the seats. He might have played to more people at the sound check 2 days before. But anything else on the day itself, or
It was hot.
Oldest ever.
You-
That was just because Sean Makers was there.
anyone want to add anything about, say, the parade or anything?
There was nobody who streaks, poor form by them.
Yeah, that's right. Divvy Blues did not streak, so he got a badge and applied it. There was a couple of interested onlookers as he did that.
Well, considering you and Reap were telling me to do it and when we're all drunk, you know how hard it is to get into desktop view on a mobile phone
Fucking do it
and go to
now,
the admin
cunt.
control panel? Yeah, little Fife is intimidating me. Yeah.
But we will go
Do it-
back
do it
earlier
now.
into the week, and 2 days before the grand final, Daniel Chick.
He told us something that we all knew, that they're all...
What a fucking
fucked up.
story, and timing and everything. Like,
I'm a bitter fuckwit, basically, is what it came across as.
But the crazy thing, he was on Big Footy just recently having a crack at pants cut for stuff he said on the West Coast Eagles vlogcast and wanting all this stuff said about him deleted on the Bulldogs board about him taking drugs and shit. And then he comes out and just says it anyway.
Was that really him?
Yeah, it was.
that
Oh,
was
we
his
think it
thrill.
was him.
Yeah, well, 90% that was him. Yeah,
So he,
Fuck
basically
me.
he basically went after Pants Carl because he's a ranger. So.
it doesn't like pants cut.
And Pants Carl was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Daniel Chick's just fucking lost it. But it was amazing timing. Like, the whole conversation was, oh, he's told the story 3 weeks ago. That doesn't make it any better. And it's still finals time, even if the Herald Sun chose to release it now. It's just like,
It does too much. Like, apparently it was a Hawthorn supporter who released it or some shit like that.
oh, it was fucking Rita.
Rita, yeah.
Did she find it in a gutter outside a clinic in Ivanhoe?
That's where they
Just
found
checking.
Rita.
Did you say that's where they found her?
Yeah. Seriously. But just like her give us a bad name. Fuck off, Rita.
She's more in the Subaru mold, isn't she?
Oh, both of them. Fuck off, bitches.
This is where we'll go fight, 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 fight.
No, like, seriously. Every person that's fucking female and associated with sport in any way makes us look like fucking morons. Sam Lane, Rita Panahi, whatever her fucking name is. Get it together, you moles.
What about Caro?
Oh, fucking Caro.
Caro burnt down Dane Swan's pub this week, didn't she?
Fucking
Who-
bitter old mole.
Who's the one sensible lady that always goes on about drafting? Is that Emma Quayle?
Emma Quayle.
Oh, Emma Quayle, because she doesn't annoy anybody.
Emma Quayle does come up with some annoying shit though at times.
She's pretty on the money with all the drafts.
Yeah,
and
she
stuff.
probably would know whether Jack Billings is moving.
Clearly an intelligent, sensible woman. Essendon supporter, of course.
Nerily Meadows is
She
quite
can't
good.
be perfect though, man.
Yeah, I don't mind
Narrowly.
narrowly. She's okay.
What about Susie Olsen?
Yeah, well.
Oh,
She has it. North connections.
Morgs, what is your opinion on Jennifer Kite and the whole champagne bottle thing?
It's a Coke bottle, wasn't
That
it?
was
It's
a
a Coke
Coke
bottle,
bottle.
isn't it?
It was a fucking 1.25 Coke bottle.
Oh.
And on the serious note, there was a thread on Big Footy that actually got
Boyd.
lawyered up from Kite back in the early days of Big Footy.
That was like
her lawyer,
2001 or something. That's all.
her lawyer sent in a cease and desist desist when there was a thread about her and the Coke bottle.
Maybe
true.
she
What?
should have ceased and desist before she sat on it.
We're getting into some fucking murky territory.
I don't know the story though.
Yeah, well, she got a Coke bottle stuck up.
Johnny Diesel injected her.
She had to have it removed.
That's a really old story from
that's
like
not a football.
ages ago. It was Johnny Diesel from Johnny Diesel and the Ejectors was supposedly going out with her. And allegedly she turned up at some hospital with something stuck somewhere. It might have been a Coke bottle in a place that was normally okay, but this was stuck pretty good.
It was
apparently.
probably a lid, and Chinese Whispers has turned it into a bottle.
Yeah.
Anything can be a dildo these days.
If you
And-
Google Jennifer Kite Coke bottle, down the bottom it says, in response to a legal request submitted to Google, we've removed 5 results from this page.
And one of them is Big Footy.
No, Bigfoot is still the third one.
That's the chief had gone, fuck you. Well, most in the US.
The fourth one says about being stuck in her anus.
Let's get back to Daniel Chick. Anything else on him?
9 digits.
Spanner.
He fingered the whole team, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Has he got any fingers left?
I mean, but he basically called out everything we knew, like, Flatline Fletcher,
Carlos
what's his name?
Kerr.
Always been a good
Ketamine
Hawthorn
yeah.
boy, Chicky, and good on him to drop that bombshell in the middle of the week. I don't know if it helped, but
I
you know,
think
it
it's-
certainly was a distraction.
The West Coast supporters treated him like they do someone they don't like. They boot him at the airport.
It's very concerning though that the family club brings out players that have drugs issues.
yeah,
There
it's
probably
another
wasn't a culture like that at West
player
Coast
with a
until
drug
he
problem.
arrived.
They exploit pokies all the time. I mean, Hawthorn's culture is quite concerning.
Well, look at it. I mean, you look at their history. They've got mental issues. There's whatever the fuck's wrong with Dipper.
Didn't they trade a couple of the mental cases to
Talk
Norf?
about non-deserving
Oh yeah,
talent
like
medalists.
Jonathan Hay and Nathan Thompson, both.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know. I don't. No, I don't need reminding.
Buddy Franklin. There's a long list of people who've come out of Hawthorn fucked up. Let me tell you.
What's that kid recently? He was a pretty
Charlotte.
good. Yeah, he was apparently like going to be a top 10 draft
Yeah, no,
pick.
he
Then
was
he
gonna
went
be
to
young
Hawthorn.
until he got Hawthorn.
Yeah, even Hawthorn.
Now he's in prison.
Well, he got
Yeah.
hodged, really. Good bloke took him under his wing. And
Garlett
from
was
the start.
fucked up a long time before he got to Hawthorn.
I like that talk about Hodgie. Did you anyone with the chosen few too when he was talking about pulling a player up for having a drink?
I was amazed at the grand final parade that Hodgie wasn't driving one of the fucking cars.
Yeah, but he didn't run over any kids, so that's how you could probably tell.
Just on the driving cars at the parade, I did enjoy Lakey and his kid stealing the Gatorade.
Oh, that was Dan's
bottle at
goo.
the- Oh, okay, must have missed it then. And then Sam Mitchell did the same as well with the security car, and then he was being chased by security. So that was good.
So in other words, Hawthorn just fucking went full impunity after the siren, did they?
They're doing Grand Theft Auto now.
If it's on the ground, it's ours to fuck with.
Well, technically, we stole the security car, and then this big fat security guy is chasing Sam Mitchell, who's driving the car, sort of like Mad Jack on Caleb Daniels style.
How did you like that, by the way, Morg?
Yeah, I loved that they were next to each other. So good.
I didn't watch the heat. How did little Caleb to go get destroyed?
His legs were working. I was like a duck underwater, but he just couldn't keep up. So I'll say one last thing on Chief. He
poor-
did point the finger at a West Coast employee supplying him drugs. And on that note, we'll move on to John Worsfold being the Essendon coach.
Fuck you.
So and it wasn't illicit drugs. It was pharmaceutical drugs,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was crushed up fucking Valium, wasn't it, or something?
So Essendon Premiers 2016. Awesome.
No, but Worsfold has a degree in something, doesn't he?
I wouldn't have a clue, man.
This is where someone says.
Strangely, I haven't
This is where someone says
researched
pharmacy.
what-
Yeah, we all know he's a
Isn't-
pharmacist. It's
Yeah, he actually is a pharmacist. Dukes, you didn't know he was a pharmacist.
No, he's avoiding the answer.
Yeah, I'm just dead betting you. I'm just going, no, block, no, no, don't care.
Not interested.
But it's quite interesting, though. I mean, Worsfold did look really jaded.
You know,
at the
you
end
know
of
what's
the West
interesting?
Coast run.
Trading Jack Billings to us. That's
Wasn't
what-
that because Scott Selwood rooted his missus, though?
Oh, there was all kinds of weird. I don't know what happened at the end of the tenure there, where he lost interest in or didn't want to do it anymore.
Is it had a big footy room?
I'd heard there was a bit of midlife crisis action going on, and people saying he needs to buy a leather jacket and a motorcycle and go and hit the road or something. And he'll be all right. And that's pretty much, he's had a year or two out of the game. He says he wants to come back.
Maybe he needs to turn Breaking Bad.
Sure, I don't mind that.
Who would be his Jesse Pinkman?
Goddard.
God,
Milksham.
No, it'd be Zacharakis, and he can go, call me soft, you bitch.
Yeah, I was thinking, how Jesse used to kind of get a little bit shitty. That's got Goddard temper tantrums on it.
I was thinking Brent Stanton, actually. He's got that kind of, huh? thing
Stanton
going.
looks like a dopey dealer who'd be like, oh, I want some.
So does Jesse Pinkerman, or whatever his name is.
Oh, Tom Bellchambers.
But he's just a dopey cunt.
Is Belchambers in your list of players that are wider investigated?
And we have to point this out, and we did a few weeks ago, but Royals wants to hear this, and we will discuss this. How is it that John Worsfold didn't get the coaching bug back until Carlton had appointed someone and couldn't back out of it? And then he's ended up at Essendon, so he's actually basically said, you know what, I'll coach the Essendon mess, but I ain't touching that fucking Carlton mess because that shit's toxic.
I mean, do you blame him?
I don't blame him. I just think it's funny.
Who wants to go to a coach killer club?
How many coaches have they gone through now since
Seriously, they've gone
99 or so?
They've gone through more coaches than we have prime ministers.
Really?
Well, Park in Britain, since what, 99?
Pagan.
Yeah, Pagan, Ratton, Barker.
Malthouse. Yeah, they probably have been.
And I'm counting Kevin Rudd twice, man.
Starting to be quite a big list.
No wonder he doesn't want to go there.
But still, it's a smart option to go to Essendon. As he literally has a blank slate to do whatever he wants at that club.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he could pretty much tear up the list and do whatever.
For all the lols at Essendon's expense, they have a much better idea of where they're at than Carlton, it seems, because Carlton are appointing Bolton on fucking salary deals for a year, thinking that, oh, well, if we don't like him, we can always just sack him and start again, because the list is going to be fine. And
They can't get rid of Cruiser. They want to, but
they didn't.
can't.
They signed him.
What a hollow fucking gesture that was. The
That
other clubs
alone.
knew that he had a broken down body, so, oh, no, we'll re-sign you. What a hollow gesture that was.
Well, wasn't there a Richmond player who was almost signed with someone else and they found he had a degenerative ankle? Oh, no, it was a Melbourne player.
Jack
Trengove
Trengove
went
last
to
year.
Richmond. It was third medical we did on him. Third medical.
And Melbourne trying to hide
Jack,
it.
I'm not really
keep
serving suspension for drugs. Trengove. I've just been out of the game for 2 years.
X-Files music.
I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, the announcement was made that they'll start the investigation into Melbourne when the one into Essendon is finished. I'm looking forward to that one. Are you?
Well, it's not like Melbourne can become any worse, so...
Okay, where do we rate that on, say, the credibility factor?
I rate that on it takes one to know one factor.
As in a definite story, as in a Jennifer Kite on one end, or a Hawthorn of the worst premiers of all time on the other end of the scale? Where does it fall?
So is it Jennifer Kite on one end and the Coke bottle on the other, is it?
I give that a 3 bottles into the kite. Out of 5.
I give it half a slab.
Have we said enough about Worsfold?
Yes,
We
and
said enough about Jennifer Kite.
There's plenty that can be said about that, but yeah, nothing else on Worsfold.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how he goes because he had a very good team around him at West Coast. There was an argument that was he a decent coach at West Coast, or he just had such a good team. Any idiot could have won the flag.
He's committed to bringing in names. I mean, particularly wants Penal now.
And apparently he, what's his name from the Gold Coast? His ex-teammate's going to come across.
Guy McKenna.
Yeah.
But it could mean Super Dodoro brothers on the way out, though.
Billings
well
is
to go
still not going to Essendon.
That was the inside word.
No, he's not going there. He'll get traded there.
I mean, Fifey did touch on it, but a couple of weeks ago, or was it a week ago? I can't remember. But someone said that the Essendon news is Worsfold's going to be coach and Super Dodoro brothers is out. So he's 1 from 2 so far.
Yeah, I still haven't heard anything about... I mean, I have no idea what Worsfold's intentions are, but I haven't heard anything about Dodoro being out.
what's the green one called?
Merv.
No, the green one's called Green Dodoro.
Let's move on to Dangerfield's declared Geelong.
I wonder if he'll get there, if this will turn into another one of those... What's that dude that used to beat up women who went to Carlton from Port?
Nick Stevens.
Nick Stevens.
Nick Stevens. Whether it could be another Nick Stevens scenario.
I think it's going to be hard if he does the national draft thing that we discussed last week, because no one's going to take him for a year at that price. Unless it's like you guys and you do wind up with Billings and 2 first-rounders, you might do it.
Yeah, if we get 4, 5 in Billings, then shit, yeah.
Exactly.
And possibly Penal as well, so,
Is that from the Melksham trade?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's,
yeah, so
that's a theory. I know it's a stupid theory, and I don't think it's going to happen. But
Well,
the
that'd
theory,
be good because then you can trade Carlisle to Carlton and get even more picks.
we'll get pick 1.
Yeah.
Why not?
You get Waitering or whatever his name
Waitering.
is. Yeah.
All of
Jeez, I feel sorry for that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's meant to be an amazingly good defender, and he's going to Carlton. Poor
And the
bastard.
crazy thing is, he lives down Seaford Way, isn't he? Like in the Dandenong Stingrays,
Oh.
and he has to go the other way.
Well, at least he'll have good coffee. Yeah, but anything on Dangerfield declaring Geelong? His manager said Morgs Creek or bust, and Adelaide should take the compensation. Has anyone actually seen his manager speak? He sounds like a bitch.
Is it Paul Connor?
Yeah.
Paul Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a whiny
He is
bitch.
He was Dusty's
Fuck
manager, wasn't he?
He's
Is
a
he
giant.
the one who was Dusty's manager? Fuck.
And he's also Paddy Ryder's manager, and he did the whole Ryder out of his contract thing last year.
Isn't he Beam's manager too?
He's fucking half the league's manager.
Yeah.
His mode of negotiation is, yeah, you should just let my player do what he's asked.
Correct. That's all he is. He's like, take the deal or fuck off. Well, listen, buddy, you don't run shit.
But most of them are flogs. I mean, Liam Pickering's the same.
No, Pickering does the dirty deals behind the scenes.
Have you ever heard of a nice player manager or a
Craig
good
Kelly.
Marty
Well,
Tass.
considering they were all spawned effectively by Ricky Nixon, it being a cunt is
Toot toot.
is just part of the job description.
Spawn of Nixon.
It's a little harsh comparing Ricky Nixon to Subaru like that, but okay.
So the point of Dangerfield going to Geelong, I mean, that was, as bad a secret as, the West Coast Coke teams and
Yeah,
the 5
he was always going to Geelong. I don't know why it's an extra week for him to say yes, Geelong from Victoria to Geelong. Like, what were they doing? Hoping to play Melbourne clubs or scare the Crows into?
It's one of those open secrets that everyone knows he was going there. He wanted to go there. Geelong wanted him. Adelaide didn't want him to go. No one was going to ever say it out loud. It's like Ablett to Gold Coast. Everyone knew that was going to happen. It's
Well,
like there's a massive drug problem at Hawthorn. Everyone knows that. No one's going to say it.
No,
It's like
apparently
the Jennifer Kite thing as well, I guess.
No, apparently the rumor is that he will go via free agency to Geelong. Adelaide will get the compo pick, then Geelong will trade the first rounder to Adelaide.
For nothing.
No, they'll have
Pretty
to trade it for something.
Pretty
but it'll be
sure,
like,
pretty
fuck
sure
all.
the AFL has rules that say
They,
no.
they won't allow that.
You can do it. Nick Del Santo went the same way.
Yeah, but that involved Luke Delaney, who was.
It's still a player. It's still someone.
Does anyone remember the Veal deal?
Yeah.
It'll be just like that.
That's a
fucked up.
send over like Jonathan Jordan Murdoch or some other.
But they've got
Pretty much.
rules now that say you can't do that. I'm sure of it. Since
Yeah,
the Veal deal.
Yeah, there's some draft tampering rules, but I'm not sure it's actually
Yeah.
closed this loophole yet.
It's the
I think-
AFL, though. If there's rules, they can change them just like that, and they will.
It is inventing a pick out of thin air and kind of.
Depends how much movement there is on the next year draft pick thing. Like there's this whole other line of draft picks.
Yeah, why don't they
future-
just trade
future
that?
picks, which no one's talking about it. They might, but we don't know. They could all be on the table. That's how I think this possible Melksham Howe Penal deal could go down. Is that they'll swap them all around and they'll do a swap of picks for this year and next year, and that way everybody kind of wins. That's the only way I think it could happen. But
The deal will probably get done. My guess, and we'll come to these later, my guess is pick 9 this year and the first next year.
I still
Plus
don't
maybe
think
a
he's
pair
going
of
to
steak
Geelong.
knives. They're not going to need a first rounder for Henderson, surely.
Carlton want one, don't they?
What they want and what they'll get are two very
Yeah,
different things.
someone should tell Carlton to go and get fucked on that. If they wanted to trade these players for a good price, they shouldn't have picked them for only half the games this year. And speaking of Carlton, I did enjoy the AFL telling Carlton to go and get fucked on their priority picks too. They weren't going to get it. I did feel a bit bad for Brisbane, but then again,
Brisbane don't deserve it. Neither of them deserved one. Good outcome. You're with me on this one, right, Morgs? Do you think Brisbane deserved a priority pick?
No, Brisbane don't deserve a fucking priority pick.
If
I
we
think
didn't
I
get a
think so.
priority pick, no fucking club deserves
why
one.
would
They're
you
only
get a
gonna
priority
waste it
pick?
on a midfielder.
We were worse than Carlton and Brisbane over the last 3 years.
You were down for like 2 years, and then you've
You
kind
don't
of gone
deserve
started
one.
to go back.
Mel-
Yeah,
I'm just-
no,
that's what I'm
the
saying.
argument is if Melbourne didn't get one, not St Kilda.
yeah, Melbourne, not St Kilda.
I
And-
want a
But Melbourne,
priority.
it was their own fault. Unfortunately for Brisbane, no one wants
They
to.
overrated their list hardcore under Vossi, and their
But a lot of people don't want to play for them. There's something really wrong up in Queensland.
It must
But-
be something wrong because I mean Queensland. It's not like you having to live in Adelaide or something like that. Brisbane's not a bad city. Great weather. Yeah.
It's
That's
not
what you
that-
gotta-
Brisbane
gotta
isn't
fucking
near the
grab.
theme parks, all right? That's the Gold Coast.
no, come on. It's
Oh,
because
yeah, that's where the drugs are.
you know
though.
you've got to go and hang out with Leper after training in his hot tub, and it gets super awkward.
Or you
No
got to
one
hang
wants
out
be
with
there.
Tom Rockcliffe.
Yeah, there's something really wrong about Brisbane that they want to leave. And I do find it interesting that they've given Aish the ultimatum: either sign with us or fuck off to Carlton in the pre-season draft. Like,
Yeah.
you won't be
Fucking-
traded. You're either going to stay or you're going to go to the first club that takes you in the draft.
Brisbane's just super toxic because fucking no one likes Tom Rockcliffe. I mean, even his supposed best mates want to fuck off, get away from him.
Is he the Jose of the football world?
That's
I do
awfully harsh
actually-
on Jose.
I was going to say, I get more of a Bosk vibe for him. You know, he just sort of stands a little too close in the shower and, you know, is generally pretty, yeah, I'm awesome. Yeah, look how awesome I am. awesome. I'm running around being awesome, doing nothing.
So they're cunts.
Look at all my stats.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're
Rockcliffe
cunts, really.
2003.
Nothing else on any of that.
No, speaking of the real Jose, he just received full support of the board from Chelsea, so he's fucked.
So they literally are going to tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, they're off Jose
Let's-
to him.
Let's go to the questions. We have just one, and it was, I can't remember who it was from, but where did Daniel Chick stay whilst he was in Melbourne for the grand final? Do you have any ideas?
Good
Luke
bloke's
Hodge's
place.
house.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Ivanhoe Clinic.
He obviously stayed at Swanee's
No,
pub.
Swanee's pub. In fact,
Swanee's pub, and he burnt the thing down on his way out.
they say it was two people. It's him and Good Bloke. They're out in town.
I'll just expand on the jokes Morgs made earlier and say maybe he was sleeping in the gutter with Rita.
Oh no, I think that he was with Worsfold. Worsfold and him was staying there. They're getting their Breaking Bad on.
He's Jesse Pinkman. No, he's like the fat guy that was Pinkman's friend.
The fat Toby.
Yeah. What was his name?
Badger.
Badger. That's it. I knew it was an animal, it wasn't bear.
Is that
It was
the one that
the
got
tall one. The
shot?
taller one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the fat guy was the one that got shot was the Mexican.
It could be that guy too.
Pants Kyle actually dug up on the West Coast board the fact that Daniel Chick had posted on Facebook a sort of PDF screen print of his grand final ticket. And so anyone could have just grabbed that barcode and potentially gotten in with that. So I don't know if there are any good stories from potentially a confrontation between Chick and the security guards.
Someone needs to add that to the sneaking into the grand final thread on the main board.
Yeah, wait
I
for
printed out the barcode from Daniel Chick's tickets and got him.
And then
Well-
Daniel Chick gets
Well,
denied.
Yeah, Daniel Chick starts melting on someone else's ball.
The other news was the North players getting pissed at the cricketer's arm.
What was this?
They got pissed and abused a woman.
Yeah, they threw their keys over the fence or something like that and started abusing this chick.
Oh, they didn't send Majak round to retrieve the keys.
Yeah,
Having
but
a
she
pub
didn't know
crawl
who
when
they
it
were
happened.
because Norf are nobodies. They said
Uh,
who they were.
Apparently, she was like, "Who the fuck is Kanye Turner? I don't know who that is."
Yeah, then he tackled her and knocked her out.
Did they have a rubber chicken with them at all? Were they filming?
That's Adam Simpson. That's not us.
Yeah, well, they did say that they told me to go away, not the nicest term. So I'm guessing it was "move, bitch, get out of the way."
That is officially the only way to tell somebody to move.
Reading it though, it's a bit tame. In the end, she kind of does "boys will be boys" type of thing and shrugs her shoulders.
None of them are boys. They're all
No,
30.
the only good thing about it was the bit that it took her 3 days to figure out who they were.
Wait a minute.
But there's like-
Unfortunately,
she's
'cause
like,
she
"They're
couldn't-
kangaroos.
she
I'm
thought they
not
were just
following you."
a local football club because she didn't know any of them. What a bunch of nobodies. Oh, I'm getting disapproving looks.
No.
It's okay, Penal. You can change teams.
You can come to Collingwood.
Yeah.
You won't be the youngest person there.
Get on the Hawks bandwagon. I mean, we're going to win the next 7 flags in a row. So
Well, if you want to support a club that wins flags that aren't all that great, then yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Flags that go down as history is kind of weak.
Like,
I
we
mean,
really
Northern
earned-
Lights could be
Just
the
kind of
anti-Sooz, man. He'd be the anti-Sooz because she went Hawks to North. Now he can go North to Hawks and balance all, the balance and the force and all that shit, man.
So would that mean that North would get all the flags now?
Yeah, would.
Okay, Northern Lights, you have to make a sacrifice and go. Sorry.
You're now Hawkeye Lights.
Oh, actually, I think you have to get rid of Sooz to exercise that particular.
Well, how the hell are we supposed to do that? She's like stains
You
on a
guys-
mattress. She's stuck there forever.
Something like,
Let's move on to this week on the Bay. Thread of the week. I'm liking Bender's Club Champions
yeah,
thread.
that's exploded.
It's a difficult one though because Mothra's bottom 50 had
And
quality
not
melts.
They had some quality melts. They're not in there anymore, though. I believe they've been moved.
to the
It's-
boy thread.
Does how mouths look from here.
No, I nominate Bender's official Bay 13 club champion.
Yeah, have to go for that.
Sanctioned by an official club champion.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Benders, but I'm going to give Teachers one that mentioned things that Jack Darling drops. It's not bad.
I like our new entry.
I can't even say it. It's when English is wrong, I can't read it properly. I fumble over the words.
Have a crack, man. Because Fifey, the title
Attention.
pretty much sums it up. I mean,
Yeah.
have a crack.
How far does Saints look from here?
Does for how Saints look.
It's like a tongue twister for Fife. Have a go, man.
It's a Shakespeare soliloquy.
Does for how Saints look from here?
Does for how Saints look from here.
But it's only really good because of the first line of the OP. The title pretty much sums it up.
Well, I mean,
Do
when
you agree?
absolutely everyone said the same response. Ant reads it out, and then everyone goes, "Wait, what? What? Does for how?"
So no other thread the weight noms?
No, just give it Benders is
Give it
the
to
pretty
Benders.
standout.
Well, we've got a title
Right.
for the Flogcast. Does for how Flogcast?
Does for how podcast
Yeah.
Sounds
from
like
here.
retard Shakespeare.
Sooz Shakespeare.
And the byline, the
Actually,
title
and the-
sums it up.
Title pretty much.
When I put this together, you know how I have all those talking points and stuff, all the descriptions of what's in there? I should fuck about the order of every single one. Flog of the week, what do we got?
I've
Every
gone to-
single Hawthorn poster in Mothra's bottom 50.
Gunstall?
Fucking flogs.
It's got to be one of them. Hawk, Gunstal, 555, Waverley, Cut Above. They're all just going. Blah, blah, blah.
What about Geelong Crazy 26 for not only fucking starting those threads 3 years ago, but for coming back and trying to defend them by saying, Hawthorn's flag don't count because they were in a weekend competition, as in weekend as opposed to weekday.
I'm going to go for again Hawthorn supporters.
Sorry, what's his logic there? Weekend as into weekday. That sounds ridiculous.
He just can't spell weekend.
Oh,
You know that whole misspelling thing is his little thing to get the Hawfies in and replying to his posts. Geelong Crazy 26 was the old school Bay where all he had to do was write something stupid about Hawthorn, and 200 pages later you have all these Hawthorn melts at him. He was a reverse hodgepodge, except hodgepodge kind of means that he was taking the piss and purposely misspelling his words and shit like that.
I'm going to go for Hawthorn supporters on the main board for the logic that Wingard is a worse player than Rioli because Wingard is less injured and plays more games.
So that makes less sense than how for what Saints do.
Could we just say Hawthorn supporters in general?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck off.
And just,
Get
yeah.
fucked.
I like it.
yeah,
What are
even you,
cunts?
Penal.
Like, what are you doing melting in Mothra's thread? Go and, I don't know, get your dicks out and go all over each other.
Yeah.
Like that Tom Boyd, you fucking losers.
They've clearly run out of sayos and they're angry.
Yeah, even you, Penal, because I did not like the way you were judging us on Friday.
We were pretty fucked, man.
Just give it to Penal this week. Have we ever given it to someone who's actually been on the Flogcast at the time?
Yeah, we gave it to Margaret.
Peach.
Penal's been good. Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, leave him alone.
Stop hitting you.
Actually, we could also give it to some of the Fremantle supporters who've made a miraculous return since West Coast got beaten.
They are a little up and about, aren't they?
Yeah, did Spoken For come back? I've just seen one of his threads has been bumped, so I'm guessing he's back. I don't know who else we could give it to. Hawthorn supporters in general, though if I was to nominate one, I'd say Gunstal 555.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one that melted last year over Showmakers being in?
Yeah, he's the same one who melted over Clangers. I don't remember his posting anywhere in between the 11 months between, but I remember his melt last year and I remember his melt this year,
The whole fucking club, just give it to them all.
including Penal.
Get fucked, you cunts.
Teachers in here to white knight him and say he's untouchable, so...
You don't have a protector.
Last week's poll, well, everyone was wrong because no one picked Jack Darling.
I picked Jack
or
Darling.
Leon Day. You didn't vote for him, cunt. No one voted for him.
I did.
But
You just didn't get my Skype call. I had Darling ready to go, and
moral prediction, eh?
and what was the other predictions? Because I got them
Yeah,
too.
And the significant thing was 13.8% said Jack Watts will never win a Leon Davis because no one will ever give Melbourne pick 20 for him. The rest were, obviously wrong. Let's go to look into next week. I'm going to go trade week. And I'm going to get predictions on where we think certain players will end up at all costs. So we'll start with Dangerfield.
2 first rounders and steak knives going toward Adelaide.
Crows will end up sooking and taking the compensation pick and taking their bat and ball and going home back to Adelaide.
And the world will go on, except for in South Australia where 10 still.
Yeah. And no one will care.
Dangerfield isn't going to Geelong. He's just foxing.
Oh, so now you're back on that wagon. You were on, you got off, now you're back on.
No, you think he's going to the Dogs?
Well, no, I mean, after we've sort of retired Lake, which I didn't think that we were going to do, it's obvious that we're making a play for a big name.
So it's not the defender like Jake Carlisle.
No,
So Billings
because
is going to Hawthorn.
we don't need Jake Carlisle.
You going to throw Sean Makers down
You
back?
do
We need,
now that
we need
Lake's
a
retired.
Dangerfield type.
You won't get Dangerfield. Haduken?
He said he'd come back in a minute, but he did have a few theories on all these crazy trades they were going to do. And Super Dodoro was, make your own trade week or whatever. And
4-5 and Billings.
yeah,
Much.
actually get
Steve
the castle
Johnson.
and find his princess and all that stuff.
No. Steve Johnson,
Stevie J
Gold
to
Coast.
Freo.
No, Gold Coast, 2-year deal, plus 3 years as assistant coach. Sent through by a certain Mr. Gary Ablett Jr.
Geelong fucked up last year when GWS was going to offer him pick 7.
Yeah, they should have taken it. And so should have Stevie J. 4 more years.
Yeah, man, he would have been laughing.
Geelong just don't know how to do list management.
Where are they talking about him going now? GWS still? Or?
I can't agree there with Penal. I mean, at this stage of their life cycle, they need more youth, more draft picks. And what they're doing, they're going after Henderson, they're going after Dangerfield, and apparently someone else is in their sights, Leuenberger. So they're going for older players, which is going to cost draft picks.
Chris Scott is following Brad's lead.
Yeah.
You just have to look at their ruck situation. They ditched Trent West and Oren Stevenson for fucking Reece Stanley and Hamish McIntosh. Good work, guys.
That was an excellent trade on our behalf. I'm just saying.
Nice and killed made out like bandits.
I did the predictions comp today, and I actually researched the answers on that. And one of the questions was, who will play more games, Reece Stanley or Hugh Goddard? So in the first year, when Reece Stanley should be offering greater returns than Hugh Goddard, they played the same, and Goddard didn't debut till after the bye. So St Kilda have basically already won within 1 year.
And normally that would sound a bit injury trollish, but Stanley was always injury prone, and Geelong knew the risk and knew what they were getting into.
100%.
Oh, come on. I'm going to put my Adam H hat on and say he's worth a number 1 draft pick, and St Kilda were robbed.
Well, if Geelong were going to be stupid enough to pay 21, we should have asked for a better pick.
Haduken, did you have a Dangerfield prediction, what you think will happen, what will be given up?
Oh, shit. I think you'll get there eventually.
How will happen? Paul Connors just keep asking, saying, please, let him. Just let him go.
What have they got now? 9 or something?
Geelong's got 9.
Yeah, I reckon that they'll push for 9. And I think Geelong will end up having to give up 9 for him. That's how it'll work.
Okay. Carlisle, what do we think happens with Carlisle?
5 and Billings.
Yeah, I'm thinking to St Kilda for Billings and some steak knives to St Kilda as well.
That's St Kilda to either pick 5 or 2 second rounders. Billings is off the table. Baines has come out, said, no, not having it.
It's totally Carlton, man. It's going to be some paper bags under the table type of thing. And he doesn't want to drive to Seaford. I mean, I live probably 20 minutes from Seaford. I don't want to drive to Seaford. I'm closer than him.
If he's earning 800k as reported from St Kilda, move to fucking Brighton, you weak cunt.
Right? So Seaford is still like a 40-minute drive, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Brighton, so he gives a shit.
You'd be living close to Sam Newman.
You still got to go to Seaford where there's no coffee.
You know, Brent Harvey lives out in the bush. He has to drive an hour plus to get to training every day.
But he gets a free car.
It also means it takes
he
an
ripped
hour.
that draw, didn't he?
That's 2 hours out of his day that he doesn't have to hang around with Mrs. Boomer.
No, she drives him to training and picks him up again and goes, there you go, and pats him on the head and he runs off with the training.
His little backpack.
Yeah, and he goes, you forgot your kiss. And he goes, oh, you're embarrassing me.
Also, Cooksen, Carlton are 2 years into their rebuild. They're ahead of you, so why wouldn't he go to Carlton over you?
Well, apparently all his best mates are at Carlton.
Like who?
Oh no, that's some bullshit Carlton supporters have been saying.
I didn't know Carlton had anyone in his age bracket,
If St Kilda are smart, they'll move heaven and earth to get Carlisle.
including Billings.
Yeah.
Carlisle or Stevie J, anyone got anything else on those?
I do think Stevie J might be heading to Freo, which would be a
Freo.
good source of... Well, that's what Jose said.
A lot of clubs are sniffing at Stevie J. No one's formally offered. I think he's going to have a choice of where he wants to go. I think he'll end up at the Colas.
I reckon there'll be one trade that none of us will see coming, but
Do you want to have a guess at what it might be?
Oh, Dangerfield to Hawthorn, obviously.
Jack Watts to Essendon.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yep.
For what?
Like a second round pick.
No, pick 20.
Square of spongy floor.
Melbourne said pick 20, so you've got something around that. Pick 20. Give him
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we will if we get like a second round pick somewhere for somebody, like maybe Dempsey to the Gold Coast or something. Yeah, we'll use it on Jack Watts.
So is that information that you've got, or is that just something
No,
that you would like to see?
that's just completely out of my arse. I have nothing on that really. I wouldn't be unhappy if we did something like that. I reckon you give Watts a new club and
You're just pulling shit out of your ass,
Yeah,
like how you
absolutely.
said Hawthorn were the worst premiership team of all time.
They are.
name a worse one.
Adelaide 97.
Hawthorn last year, and then Hawthorn the year before.
Geelong 2009.
Hawthorn 2008.
Yeah, well, that's the worst one. They Bradbury. McCarthy, I think McCarthy will go to Fremantle. I think it's going to cost them 2 first-rounders and steak knives, or it might cost them a first-rounder and Neil. You know, they're desperate to get it done, and they will do what it takes.
It'll be Lockie Neal in their first rounder,
They
guaranteed.
have to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if they don't give Lockie Neal up, they're going to have to find someone in that bracket of, I don't know, like, they don't have many young players, but maybe they'd have to give up, say, a Weller and 2 firsts. They have to get so fucking aggressive with the Giants to get this
It's
deal done.
do or die
because-
for Freo to
Because
get a
the
flag.
Giants can play hardball because he's got 2 years left
Yep.
on his contract.
I think he'll be in Freo at the end of the trade period because I think they're desperate enough.
Well, if they're determined to get it done,
Yeah.
then they will give the Giants an offer they can't refuse.
And they need to be determined to get it done.
Yeah, because the window's shut otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm seeing someone going to Richmond. Richmond will trade in the high-class midfielder this window. go.
Who from? Like there aren't many on the table. What Seedsman?
Oh, come on, he's so good. I'm never allowed to talk shit about him. Why don't you want him?
Because we were talking high class midfielders, not high class father son producers.
But still, I just see it coming because Richmond, they need a midfielder to go further up into premiership charge.
Maybe,
So.
but I don't think there's any left available now. We had a dip at Penal, but I don't think there's any left for us.
Would you take Brent Stanton?
No.
What about Melksham? You maybe can help beat
No,
Melbourne.
Melbourne can keep him.
Would you take Jack Watts for your second rounder?
Fuck, no.
You have a history of taking mediocre Carlton players and making them your 7th best player, so
Oh, Tom Bell. Okay, sure.
yeah.
We might take Tom Bell.
He's
I think he
actually
wants-
not that bad.
No, I think he's handy.
I was thinking someone worse than Bell, like
Matthew
I'd
Watson?
absolutely take him.
or a Jason Tutt or something.
No one takes time.
Anyone else have any thoughts on McCarthy?
What I do like about McCarthy, if he goes, that's another contracted young player out of GWS.
Yeah, but they'd have got him for King's ransom each time.
But I'm glad that they're losing these players because it's a fucking joke the way they were set up.
And apparently Tumpus has requested a trade from Melbourne.
Where to?
Yeah, going back to his buddy Ollie, I guess.
He basically wants his mum's home cooking type of thing. Go home.
Enjoy that, Port Adelaide.
They might be able to de-Melbourne him.
Well,
but I
it
don't
worked
know.
with Pollock.
The
He
problem
was a
with
very good bowler.
Yeah, but problem with Tompus is he's not exceptional in anything. Like his disposals is average. He's soft. He's not that quick.
And he's been Melbourne.
Yeah.
Like, admittedly, he's probably on roughly the same currency as Melksham, except the difference is Port are going to actually value him at what he's worth instead of Melbourne, who are going to value him at 400,
The
500.
fucking Melbourne
400.
comparison is brilliant because I can't think of a better example of a soft footballer who has no skills.
Melbourne are trading out young Melksham for old
But
Melksham.
enough about Matt Suckling.
No, he's soft as butter, but at least he can, kick the ball well.
He does have decent disposal, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He's out of bounds on the fulls. Pinpoint precision jobs every time. It's like, poof, straight to that guy in the third row.
5 goals in 3 finals.
Chris Yarran, what happens there?
He goes nowhere. He's going to stay at Carlton. This is Dustin Martin part 2.
I think he ends up at a club, not Richmond. I think Richmond don't trade.
I think he stays at Carlton. I think
Really?
they'll shop him around. No one will want to pay what Carlton asks.
I think someone like Melbourne or Brisbane are going to jump.
Yeah, I think that bridge has well and truly been burnt at Carlton,
Yep.
unless something radically changes.
Richmond don't give up the first, Carlton don't take the second, and someone comes in between with an earlier second, which is where I'm thinking Melbourne or Brisbane.
Yeah, McKay basically said they're only going to accept a first rounder.
They won't be accepting a first rounder, but they'll lower their expectations to a high second, and it will be someone like.
But he's still under contract. They could,
But they don't want him.
according to the interview, it was more Yarran wanting to leave than them wanting to lose him.
Yeah, but as has been said, once the bridge is burnt like that, I don't think they hang on to him because he can walk as a free agent next year.
How many times has he been fucking dropped for off-field or attitude
Yeah,
issues?
like by 3 different coaches. We said how many coaches Carlton
So,
have had. 3
so when is Yarran going to go pictured?
So he's going to GWS, you're saying?
What about Jack Redden?
I don't even know where Redden's going. Does anyone want Redden?
West Coast, right?
Redden would be a decent pickup for most teams.
Redden's like the one player who's going somewhere that no one actually knows where they're going, but he's leaving.
I thought he wanted to go to WA.
But yeah, West Coast didn't want him.
Yeah, I'd heard Freo was the one that was looking at him.
The other unrestricted free agent that's out of contract is Jared Grant.
Carlton.
I was going to say, yeah, Carlton has a habit of picking up our scraps.
So Geelong, that's the other one you were thinking of before when you mentioned the old ones to Geelong, Selwood to Geelong.
He could fill the void left by Josh Bootsma.
Harley Bennell. Haduken's already said Essendon.
But the difference between Penal and like a Garland is he's actually has runs on the board. He can play footy.
Yeah, he's a functional junkie.
I reckon this
Well, then
one
he's
will
going
be
to Hawthorn, isn't it?
No, I reckon this one will be the Dustin Martin 2.0, and a deal won't get done like what we've seen with Richmond.
Nah, they won't
Richmond
go
wanna
on. Difference is we never wanted to be rid of Dusty. Dusty wanted to move.
There's no coming back for Penal.
Yeah, Gold Coast will shop him or delist him.
Because Ablett will forgive him. It's not very Christian of him if he just throws Penal out. So
That's right.
he-
He'll all come in. They'll all have a little bit of a chant and sing, and they'll all be all right.
You'll get on the 12 steps.
That's right. They'll move in from the
High
party
power.
boy side to the Hillsong side, and they'll be right.
Maybe he can go to Melbourne and join his mate.
I'm firming on Essendon now that they've thrown their hat in. I don't think Freo are going to get him because I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at McCarthy. They won't be able to get Penal.
Oh, how typical! All the druggies and all the pharmacists are going to Essendon.
Yeah, you're going to be an entertaining club next year.
We'll either win everything or we'll all drop dead at halftime. It'll be awesome.
You'll win the off-season ladder too.
That's if anyone gets any points.
Anyone else got any theories on Penal?
Might be coming to North.
He does not fit the age profile.
Yeah, he's like 10 years too young.
He did a tour at the club over the weekend. That's as much as I can tell you.
And that chick who lives next to the Cricketer's Arms. Oh, that's an off player.
There's that troublesome boy.
Yeah.
He's the one who does lines. James Aish, what do we think there?
Staying.
Hawthorn.
He resigns with Brisbane.
Who said it? Did I hear Hawthorn?
This is like the most obvious one of the whole trade period.
What, you're gonna try and get him the same way you got John O'Rourke?
Why do you want another squib?
Yeah.
Talk about
Oh.
concerning youth. You don't want Haish.
Watch his draft highlights. We'll de-Brisbane him.
Watch his draft highlights. He's done fuck all. He was worse than Lewis Taylor.
He couldn't get into the Brisbane Lions this year with their fucking injury list, and you can't put it all down to homesickness.
No, he's literally picked after the worst beams.
Wow. He's Tumpus Melksham territory, I think.
Right, I think he's a bit lower than that, to be honest.
He's worse than that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll get
Melksham's
paid.
played some good games.
Hey, seriously, James H is lower than shuck shit.
You just fucking butt hurt over 2002 and 2003 still.
Yeah, that's why.
You're just upset because, Penal, this is your big move. Ha ha, we're going to get James H. None of you are going to see it coming. Ha ha ha. And we're like, ha ha, he's a potato. So have
But
him.
we
Go
can
for it.
make
to
him look
Hawthorn.
really good in a good side, you know.
Yeah,
Oh no!
Like
You've just
Suckling and
you've just made Haduken's argument earlier of the worst
Yeah.
premiership team ever.
Yeah, a whole bunch of
It's
spuds
a
made
straight
to
swap,
look really
Suckling for Aish.
No, this is seriously
No.
what you do to Hill every week. You make
They've
a shit
already,
player look
Brisbane
okay.
have already officially said no to Suckling. They've actually said, we're the worst team in the competition and we don't want him. Because it will apparently damage their compensation reward for Leuenberger or
That's
something.
why it's going to be a trade for Aish.
Alright, assuming trade, what are you going to give Brisbane? Because Suckling's not enough.
What do you mean? They'd be giving us fucking pick 2 plus Aish for Suckling. He's a
Oh.
triple premiership player. That's how good he is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so's Cameron Rooney, and I wouldn't give up fucking fried shit for him.
Seriously, you need to throw in some steak knives. Not
Maybe
everyone can bend Brisbane
Cyril,
over at the
Cyril
trade.
might do it.
They need a key position, send them clangers.
Obviously, pick
Not
pick
to
2
mention
is
the
being
fact that-
facetious, but I reckon
I'm
Aish plus
interested to
pick
know-
20 for Suckling.
Are
That's
they going
fair.
to do Are they going to do like a full psych exam on Suckling before he gets there?
Yeah, because he sleeps with the light on.
Well, no, just Hawthorn has a history of trading players out who turn out to be actually quite mentally ill.
I've got a theory on
Seriously,
that.
being covered in brown and gold. Fucking do that.
So are you saying they might trade Hodge because cracks are starting to appear, ramming people into posts, drink driving? He's about to go full Ben Cousins.
The only reason Buddy is mentally ill is because Buddy misses his mates, you know?
Jordan Lewis is clearly stressed about something. All his hair's falling out. But Hale,
It's probably
used to
because
have
he's a
full
new
head of hair.
dad. He's stressed about being a dad. That's all it is.
Sam Mitchell had triplets, and his hair's not falling out. He's just
Well,
kneeing.
it's genetics. We all have
Yeah.
different genetics. That's
Mitchell
why.
Mitchell is just a psychopath, so he just deals with it. You know, with his knees and his elbows and late hits and shit.
Smiles.
Yeah. He's just a nasty piece of work.
He's a little jab Hawthorn.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Gibson has severe narcissism. He got that when he joined Hawthorn.
Oh, he fucking had that from his Norf days because fucking Norf always playing the victim and making.
The only
it all
thing
up
the
themselves.
other thing he did at North was he banged his head on the toilet. That's about it.
What, he was in the same toilet as Duck and
Shut up, NL.
The only thing he banged in a toilet.
Any last predictions or anything on trade week?
Seedsman gone to whoever wants him. Fuck off.
Does for how trade week look from here?
Just for how trade week look for Seedsman. Not good.
He'll end up at the Brian,
So
so
where do you reckon Michael Talia will
He
go?
will be at North Melbourne.
Sydney.
North Melbourne will
Sydney?
have
Yep.
Seedsman.
You don't reckon he's going to be with his brother at Adelaide?
I'd heard Adelaide was pretty much a done deal.
They've burnt that bridge, and Sydney are desperate.
Because I know both Sydney and Adelaide have given him put a contract in front of his face. So
I reckon the Cole is just so desperate.
Sydney would want that sweet inside info.
Alright, so this was our last episode for about 3-4 weeks, I think. So until the end of the trade period, and
Until we can teach again.
yeah, we're still waiting on the last of those grades.
I give Hawthorn an F- for being
Worst.
the worst premiership team. in
Seeing
the-
how fucking biased you guys are, the cunt probably would do that. Like, this is becoming a joke. This week was meant to be the Goo cast, and yet it's become the fucking let's all hang shit on Hawthorn and Penal cast.
Well, Penal, you can only blame your Hawthorn brethren for this because the last 3 days have been fucking horrible on the bay. The goose-plosion has just been,
But that's
Then
what
the
it's meant
melts.
to be like.
Then the melts turn.
Why are they
pure
melting over
into
fraud
melt-
in the
Yeah.
Melted goo is a terrible smell.
Well,
And Cookie's talking from experience here, so let him go.
Maybe they're melting over Frawley because someone incorrectly said he was the 35th worst player of the year, kind of like someone incorrectly said that Hawthorn were the worst premiership side of all time.
And why?
And
why
I
does it,
melted over that.
He was the 35th worst player of the year. He just pulled out a couple of good games at the end.
and why does that burn you also?
Well, I don't really care. It's just.
Oh
It's
no, you care. You're all
infuriating
posting
because
like you care.
When I don't really care, I just don't talk about it.
I'm here to try and educate people, like Matt Stevick, the school teacher. I want to follow in Stevick's footsteps. That's why I wore his Guernsey to that Geelong game a few weeks ago. So I just want to educate people.
Consider us educated. Now fuck off.
All right, so yeah, this was the Flogcast for the postseason wrap. Starburns joined by Ant,
See you later.
Haduken,
Goodbye, bae, and see you next year.
Dan,
See ya.
Morgs,
Bye.
Cooksen,
Sayonara.
and Penal.
You're all a bunch of flogs, except Dan.
Listening, and we'll see you
Thank you.
in a couple of weeks.